Welcome to Nomadic Diaries, the Belonging Project. I'm Megan, and I'm here with the lovely Doreen Cumberford, who has spearheaded the entire podcast platform, Nomadic Diaries. And we are co-hosting this mini-series on belonging. And today we have the wonderful, lovely global girl coach, Andrea Schmidt.
Hello, hello.
Welcome, Andrea.
Thank you.
Oh, hello.
Hi, Doreen. Welcome, Andrea. Let me give some context about you, and we'll dive right into the perspective you bring on belonging. Andrea Schmidt is a certified teen girl life coach who specializes in working with third culture kids during their crucial teenage years. With a master's in clinical psychology and extensive cross-cultural experience, she coaches girls worldwide via online platforms in English, Spanish, and German. Her passion for this work began when she witnessed the transformative power of coaching, and this inspired her to help other families navigate the unique challenges of raising teenagers between cultures. Amazing, Andrea. You're trilingual and
Yes.
and more languages?
And more lingual.
More lingual. I love it. Yes.
Yeah.
And for our listeners who don't have the visual, Andrea is sitting here with a beautiful, bright, hot pink shirt, and it's just
Yes.
bringing so much joy. So let's
Thank
dive
you.
right in, Andrea. We're talking about third culture kids specifically in this episode, and I'm curious if you want to give some background on your experience working with TCKs and uniquely teenage girls' sense of belonging as they have this experience with their identity formation.
Yeah. I think nowadays, as we all know, not only the multicultural life of TCK teen girls, but also changing standards, norms, stereotypes, and social media have put an extra twist on identity and belonging as well. So I think that the TCK teen girl experience exposes girls naturally to multiple cultures and multiple influences, which creates cultural multiplicity. They often feel an otherness from their passport country, so that can be their passport or even maybe their moms or their dads, like countries they've maybe visited but don't really belong. Well, don't identify with. We're talking about identity at the moment, right? So they have a hard time building their self-concept due to all the shifting environments. And they often have a misunderstanding about their identity and appearances due to the different cultures they live in and they grow up in. So there's a lot of identity confusion. They don't know where to start with their identity negotiation. Maybe my identity should show that I'm from this country or belong to this one. They struggle to define themselves as their experiences differ a lot from the peers they're around with in that country, and maybe also from the home country, which might be their home country or their parents' home country. So identity formation is also an ongoing project for TCK girls, often continuing into adulthood, just because their exposure to the multiple cultures can delay the settling on the self-concept ideas that teen girls normally develop during their teen years. So that was my take on identity. And would you like me to go into belonging?
Yeah, I mean, maybe what is the difference between identity and belonging?
Identity is self-concept, I would say, is how you define yourself, how you see yourself. And that's very difficult when you grow up in different cultures, because if you go from Okay, let's take my countries here, Germany to Mexico. A German woman or German teen girl in Germany looks different from a Mexican teen girl, for example. So identity, you sort of have to be you're on the lookout outside, inside, how to form your identity from everything you can see in your world, online, and maybe in your family. So, as you're not in a multicultural place and you haven't grown up like this, that might be hard. And then belonging is more to, which might be your favorite question, where you're from. Like, where do you belong to? So that can be then, of course, you can identify that yourself. If you think you belong to a country, a place, or is it the family you live with around the world?
Mm.
That's another concept that's very difficult for TCK teen girls to develop, especially in their developmental years when they should move away from the parents. Their goal is in the teenage years to go from, that's the time between childhood and adulthood, right? And the goal is to move away from the parents. So you shouldn't belong so much to them. You should find your identity for yourself, apart from your parents. Um, and very often we see that especially expat families have a very, very close bond because if you get to a new country, the only people you know is your family.
Yeah. Well,
So
that makes perfect sense that the question of belonging and belonging to your family. What about all the TCKs? Is there still a large number of them who are sent to boarding schools?
there are, yeah. I think it's still a big option. And I think also in some TCK environments, given,
Yeah.
Megan, you would know more about this, right? In the military and missionary families, it's often seen as normal to send the kids to boarding school.
Mhm.
Mhm. And then
Yes,
I mean, I don't know if I told you last time, but even we as a family found ourselves in a situation where my daughter actually attended boarding school.
yes, mine too. And that's why I'm asking the
There you
question.
go.
That's why I'm
Yeah.
asking the question because there's, this is a big difference between teen girls who are with their families but are navigating different places, different cultures, different languages with their family.
Mm,
And then
mm,
those who are exported away from their families for weeks at a time, but
yeah.
still maybe have that. We had a very close connection to our daughter
Mm,
when she was in boarding school. And we worked,
same for us.
yes, and it required me to commute a lot
Yes.
to Saudi because she had some health problems and
Hmm.
I was, I would stay in close contact and then she would come home at
Mm,
Thanksgiving and then come back to the States and then come home for Christmas and
yeah.
then come back to the States. So I think those girls have a different experience, correct? From the
Yes,
ones who are
definitely.
with their families?
Yeah. And then also compared to the ones who don't see their families as often as you've seen your daughter and I've seen mine. Because I've heard stories where the kids are just going at a very young age. They're going
Yes.
to boarding school. They don't see their parents very often. Um, and they have different challenges, of course, because they're in their developmental years where there's still co-regulating going or should be going on naturally with their parents. So that's not a given anymore.
Mm. Yeah, so I just
Yeah.
want to point out that that is still happening
Yeah.
across the globe in many different fields, different sectors, like the missionary
Hmm.
sector and
Yeah.
the corporate sectors.
Yeah.
Um, and so that makes it challenging for the families to build a sense of belonging as well, doesn't it?
Hmm. Yeah. Especially if you think like as an expat family, if you're closely knit, then it's almost the belonging with the family, right? And then if that's sort of, okay, in inverted commas, ripped apart, or if intentionally or not intentionally, then yeah, it is hard.
So what I
Mhm.
hear us discussing is, I hear us saying that belonging, is not a universal situation because
No,
it's very individual and unique.
yeah,
And and the family does have a lot to do with that.
yes, definitely. Um, there's often I've heard often that they're saying there's a belonging of I don't know where I belong because of the question, where are you from? Where do you think is home? So it's like belonging to everywhere and nowhere. They often don't have a clear sense of what or who home is. They feel rootless, unsure of where they would fit in, and they do fit in. That's not clear. And then often the feeling of like in between cultures, in between the family, and like you just mentioned, the boarding school maybe. So there's all these different cultures that not often also don't belong to, okay, doing inverted commas here, a group, whatever group that might be. So it is difficult. It's definitely a challenge in the teen years if you live the life of a TCK. And there is a phenomenon called cultural homelessness.
Yes.
Is yeah. So it's a feeling that nowhere is truly home, which can lead to a deep sense of grief and loss, which we know is one of the big problems for TCKs, or let's say challenges, right? And often this grief and loss is not addressed by peer support or family support structures. So all this can contribute to the non-belonging, the cultural homelessness. Can, doesn't have to, can. All
Yes.
depends, of course, on the child and the family. And I mean, you can have a family with 3 kids, 2 are loving the TCK life and flourishing completely, and then you might have one which experiences the challenges in a different way.
Yes. So even inside a family unit, you can have people
Mm,
reacting differently.
yeah.
This is not sort of a related question, but I'm just
Hmm.
curious.
Yeah.
Do you find that any of the corporate families or missionary families, do you find anybody's being prepared for this?
Very few. Is okay. One, I think there's a difference in if the family is prepared or if they're being prepared. Um, I know again, I think missionary and military
Yes.
families are more prepared than corporate. And then, of course, in corporate, what I have seen is big corporate organizations. From my experience, it was oil gas companies. They were sort of well prepared, and they prepare. Well, huh, no, okay. The ones
Oh,
that I
yeah.
met
Yes.
got a little bit of training compared to the one me, which didn't get anything. So that was already a little step up from what I got, which was 0. So maybe what would you say on a scale from 1 to 10? How much did you get?
I would say when we joined the corporation,
Uh-huh.
0,
Okay.
but our daughter was only 21 days old when we interviewed. So boarding
Okay.
school wasn't really on our mind, and we didn't expect to stay that long.
Yeah, of course not.
However, the entire system prepped her to go to boarding school from, I would say, what she
Mm,
had friends in first and second grade and even kindergarten. But after second or third grade, some of the kids had older siblings who were preparing to go to boarding school.
oh,
And
wow.
suddenly the kids, you hear more whispers about it, I think, when they were in fourth grade and fifth grade. And
Mm.
I think when they were in sixth grade and seventh grade, that's when the big prep started. Um,
Wow.
and I think it really helped that my daughter had friends who had older siblings at boarding school. Because when the conversation came up at the dining room table,
Mm.
she had, she had seen, we would hang a big banner out on the garage doors when the kids came home from boarding school.
Oh,
So you would know who was home. You didn't have to
uh-huh,
call. You just drive around and you'd see, welcome back, Megan. Welcome back, Andrea. All these
uh-huh.
signs. I still have Lindsay's welcome back sign, and I still, in her 30s, hang it on the house every time she comes.
Oh, so sweet. And was that in a compound where you say all the other houses? There was no way.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So
So we were
everybody
on a
did the
compound, and
same.
so you're driving up and down the street. Oh, Josh is home. Oh, Leo's home. It was
Uh-huh.
really fun. So that, I believe, was a version of prepping our kids for boarding school and
Yes.
prepping them to belong, to first of all disengage from this tiny little village that they had grown up in all of their lives, many of them
Mm,
born
mm,
there. But it taught them to the disengagement from belonging only from there and then going through the process. So I think Aramco did a fabulous job
mm.
if the parents were paying attention. But the
Yeah.
parents had to pay attention. They had to talk to their kids years ahead of time, drip, drip, drip.
Mm,
And
yeah.
not all kids are suited for it.
Mm,
Did you have something like this, Megan? How did it work for you?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, growing up in the State Department, the Foreign Service, I think what was helpful is that we had um, times where we would go back to DC to the training center, and there were classes for the adults and then from the children. But what I
Hmm.
felt was lacking, and what I understand they're doing a better job of, is the socio-emotional support. It was
Yes.
very much debriefing, security, and the logistics part. But it wasn't until I was in high school that I realized and found out that the third culture kid profile would have been helpful to navigate in transitions as well. So,
Mm,
um, and I think that ties into what you do, Andrea, so well, in that you build confidence in teen
mm.
girls because you are normalizing that you're not alone in this
Yeah.
in these kinds of transitions. And I'm
Yeah.
curious, are there certain models you use or frameworks? What do you do in some of your coaching?
Oh, I just had a family leave, so we used the raft model. It's like from the beginning, building the raft to go from one place, one country to the next country. Um, oh my goodness. I did not prepare for raft. Okay, you have to help me. R stands for, oh my
Oh,
gosh.
yeah,
Oh, um,
reconciliation.
wait,
Reconciliation,
exactly, right?
affirmation,
Affirmation,
farewells.
farewell, and
And
then thinking
destination.
destination. Here we go. Yes, between the four of us. So, closing, let's say the first country of, well, reconciliation, then affirmation of saying, contacting people, telling them what you liked about them, closing the chapter well, um, not closing friendships, but like leaving well.
Yes.
Um, then the farewells are very important because many TCKs are very reluctant because they're like, yeah, I'm losing friends again. I don't want to do this again. It's so hard. Um, then I always stress to the parents that it's really important. Farewell parties, farewell lunches, farewell coffees, farewell ice cream, whatever farewell they want to do. And then thinking destination, while they're in this thinking destination is like, okay, what about the new country? What kind of, I haven't been there, but let me check out what do we already know about the school? What do we all, when does it start? Where is it? Let's go into Google Maps and check this out, check out the where we are supposed to live, or maybe where we would like to live. We can do some touristy stuff before school starts. What can we do?
Yes.
Make a list of being a tourist there. So that's a very important one, and that's the one I definitely use, like on both ends, right? The RAF, the RAF on in the country you're leaving, and then thinking destination, taking that over to the other side.
all very, very worthwhile. Very worthwhile.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Very worthwhile. It takes the nervousness, the stress, the anxiety, at least a little bit out of this very, very, very stressful moment when the parents are stressed as well, of course.
oh,
Right? And then
absolutely.
there's this crossover effect from stressful parents to kids who get stressed because the parents are stressed.
Yes. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So
Yes.
it's good to have to like a little framework that works for everybody and involves everybody, right?
And I think it's also a good reminder for parents to take good care of themselves. And you
Yes.
know, because sometimes that's one of the things I think that gets dropped. I think in the world that
Mhm.
we tend to swim in, that people there's this assumption that that we're going to be successful and achievers and have, you know, good outcomes.
Yeah,
And with that comes a lack of modeling failure.
definitely. And also modeling struggle, I
And
think.
yes, yes,
Because that means, excuse me, if you move from Mexico to, I don't know, Germany or Thailand, there is a struggle involved. This is not going to be a holiday. You do have to pack up your whole house, which you will not see for the next 2, 3 months, which does not depend on you, but on the moving company, the shipping company, and customs. No influence there whatsoever. Um, you have to be very flexible and you have to sort of, yes, your kids will see you struggle.
yes, they will.
How are you managing that? How are you managing that? Yeah.
Yes. And so I think that's something that we don't talk about enough.
No,
I don't
because you'll
hear
be
about,
fine,
yes, that's what you
right?
hear.
Yeah, you'll be
You'll be
fine. Oh, you're
fine.
gonna have
Oh,
fun.
kids bounce back.
Oh, it's so easy for kids, especially when they're small. I hated that when people said that to me. It's like,
Yeah,
you don't have the crying one at home.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yes.
So all of that,
Megan is nodding, right?
Yes,
You
I'm in
are the crying
agreement.
one at home.
I'm in agreement. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think that's why emotional, yeah, vocabulary literacy, and
Mhm.
that's really important. Um, and I also
Yeah.
understand that culture plays a part of that too, and how well
Mm.
you're allowed to express emotions. And that plays a factor, certainly. And I think it's okay too
Mhm.
to have the emotional vocabulary so that
so that you're prepared.
individuals family can know,
Yeah,
all right, this is how I'm feeling,
Yeah,
and I'll
yeah,
express it in a certain way.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
definitely. Yeah,
And
definitely.
so we've discussed some of the challenges that TCKs, teenage girls face, but
Hmm.
what are the major couple of the ones that are different from their peers who perhaps move around inside their own country or are monocultural, never move?
Never move is easy, right? So we have frequent moves and upheavals of your whole life.
Yes.
Everything, everything. Disruption of friendships and also routines. Nothing stays the same. Now, of course, you can stay in touch via social media, but that takes time and effort. And you can also not overdo it because if not, you don't make friends in the new country. You have a new language which you have to adapt to. And in school, you might need to study in that language. Extra bonus points for that one. Social norms changing. Yes. Go as a German, which is used to rules, to a Mexican country where we don't have even lines, traffic lines on the roads, which, yeah, very flexible country.
Oh, yeah.
Feeling different. Feeling different. I mean, really, the German coming to Mexico, you're in for a huge culture shock. You will feel there very different. And at the same time, the pressure to fit in, and
Yep.
which, of course, you should do quickly, please. Um,
Top, top.
Misunderstandings, lots of misunderstandings. Assumptions of which I find always very annoying TCK privilege. So the assumption that you're living a privileged lifestyle as an expat kid, as a TCK. I mentioned before academic disruptions are also a big one. Nobody, I think, and companies sending identities don't bear in mind at all that it always takes 2 to 3 months to get adjusted to a new academic setting. And those first 2 or 3 months, combined with the language barrier, maybe are very tough.
Yes,
Because
definitely.
there is an academic disruption in the whole academic system.
Yes. And
Yeah.
when you're changing
So
from the IB to the US system,
exactly.
it's very complex, very
It's
complex.
very complex. I mean, there's not even what is considered first, second, third grade is sometimes different.
Yeah.
Grading is different, right?
Yes.
How is grading done with grades or just like in some countries, just in the lower grades, just describing the progress of the child? So yeah, there's lots going on. Lots.
So
Sometimes
that's quite a long list.
that is a long list. And I think I still missing some teachers and classmates. I can ask teachers, classmates, not fully grasping the complexity behind your background. I must say that that was a big one for my daughter. She always said that they don't understand me. They don't get me. If I say something, oh, one funny example was somebody asked her, "Oh, I like your t-shirt. Where did you buy it?" And she's like, "In Indonesia." And they wanted to hear from Zara or
Yes.
from a store.
H&M. Yeah,
H&M. Thank
they
you.
were look,
Yes,
they were looking for the
H&M.
brand, and she was
Not
giving
for
them
the country.
the country. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And then also, you know what also what I've also seen very often, especially first 3 months to a new country move, like the feeling of being behind.
Yes. Yeah. Not
Not
being caught
only
up.
academically, yeah,
Mm.
not being current.
And wondering, what are they wearing?
Exactly. What are they wearing? You
What's
have to go there
the
and find out
uniform?
first.
Yeah, what's the uniform and what are the hidden signals in the unofficial uniform that they're wearing? And what are they signaling with
Exactly
the,
on.
I mean, no, I don't know if you ever grow out of that because I am over 70 years old and I just watched everybody in the US Open wearing red tennis shoes, so I ordered some.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Okay.
I mean, but that makes me think about how these girls might feel, right? I mean,
Yes,
maybe we
definitely.
never,
So in
maybe,
the beginning, they're very grateful for uniform. The first
yes,
days they're grateful for uniform, and when there's the first free dress day, they've hopefully gotten an idea of what they should be wearing.
yes, yeah. But that is
Mm,
hugely much more important. And maybe that's something you never grow out of, apparently. Um,
no.
but but it's I I can see that. I remember, with our teenagers, they both went through that stage, even
Mm.
when they were living in a mono, so their little mono society. Interesting.
Yeah, I know. We spend, I don't know, Megan, your take on this, but we spend every time I would I would have a budget for, of course, for the new uniform, yet again new uniform, and for new clothes, because I knew that for my daughter it was important to sort of fit in and
Yes.
not stand out so much. Of course, be her own self, express herself with her clothes the way she wants. But then if she wanted to change some things, if there was the red tennis shoe, yeah, there was money for her to get that.
Yeah.
Megan,
Yeah,
did
this
you
is
change
resonating
dress
for
code?
sure. Yeah, definitely resonating.
Right?
But what I'm finding in like this season of life, I feel like Gen Zers are mocking millennials with their hair parts, or with their skinny jeans when wide leg jeans are out. Like I went
Oh,
to this this upcycling place here in the city where you can bring the clothes and then they'll buy your clothes at a really
Yes,
reduced price.
yes.
But they handed back my stack of skinny jeans to me and they're like, we aren't taking skinny jeans. And I was okay,
Yes.
fine. I'll just hold on to them
Fine.
until they come back around in style.
Exactly. Give me
Exactly.
another 5 years.
One of my millennial friends, like we're like, when are they coming back in style? Like that was like the easiest go-to. But
Well,
yeah, so
I'm curious, Megan, did you ever, when you were a teenager, what countries were you in when you were a teenager?
I was in Germany, Japan, and Israel.
Okay. And so
Mm,
did you find that there was a different dress code and style in each of those places?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yes. And it was a lot of anxiety the first day of school.
mm,
And yeah, I quickly learned what not to wear. Um,
right?
but
Yes.
those first impressions did count, and I wasn't really in the popular girls club, which was really difficult. That was another layer. Not that I wanted to be in
Mm,
the popular girls club, but it was just very difficult to make friends in one of the schools because you had to have name brand and it had to be the high end name brand.
Yes.
And
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, that was quickly learned.
And did you wear a uniform when you were in Japan at school?
No,
Oh,
mm-mm,
okay.
I didn't have to.
Germany definitely no, right? And
Right.
what about the other
Israel.
you said Israel? What about Israel? Neither?
No, but in fact,
Oh.
my senior project, I did do a research like capstone project
Mhm.
on actually fashion and the the challenges of, like regulating dress code in an international school. Like, what are the limits guys and girls will go
Yeah.
to? And the
Yes.
following year, the school implemented a dress code.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
my
Yeah.
goodness.
hmm
Oh, that's
You
But
taught them
amazing.
something. That's great. You
it,
educated them.
I forgot. I forgot about that. That's crazy. Yeah.
That
Forgot
is
about that
crazy.
Well, this is
revolution.
all global girl stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
global girls, I think, are under so much pressure nowadays
Mm,
to conform and to dress and to know the right words. And I mean, some of the language and meowing.
mm,
I mean, somebody told me recently that was the language to meow. And I was like, ah. That wasn't one that I think when we were overseas or very far overseas, it was less complex than it is now.
mm,
Mm-hmm.
So these girls are that you're working with are juggling a
mhm.
lot.
Yes, they're juggling a lot. Yeah.
hmm Yeah. And yeah, Andrea,
Mm,
what you're talking about reminds me of the research on adverse childhood experiences versus positive childhood
mm,
experiences. And you bring up some of the adverse of we
yeah.
need a stable community,
Yeah.
stable a safe space.
Mm,
And one of the positive childhood experiences, though, it says that teenagers really benefit from having two adults outside of the
mhm.
parent unit to speak into their
Yes.
life. And that's why I
Yeah.
think it's so valid and important what you're doing as a coach.
Mhm.
And I'm curious if you can speak more about your role of being a coach that's outside of the family and how is it helping teens to open up and process their experiences?
Mhm. First, I want to say you're exactly right about the research. And normally that's been taken care of in a monocultural, non-global setting. If you don't move around and don't change places by extended family members, right? Maybe a good neighbor, maybe a family friend. So that could be the other adult, which of course is not very realistic to think about when you live a globally mobile life. So yeah, that's when coaches and mentors come in. Of course, also school counselors, for example, but they often have limited time, options, and even possibilities, right? Because they're seeing so many kids. So, yes, I would be what they call another trusted adult, which is very important because you don't want to talk them to just anybody. That is very important. It has to be a safe, non-judgmental person, I think. And firstly and foremost, it's a place where they can express their thoughts, their emotions freely, mm, process complex emotions they don't really what to do with, and they're surprised by very often, and share their feelings also.
Mhm.
We often work on emotional language with the emotional chart, like the emotional wheel. They're often very surprised of what being sad can mean. If you go a little bit deeper into the layer, which they're very happy about, if it's just only sad, but maybe disappointed. So that feels so good when you can label the emotion. Um, can reduce anxiety, especially during the first months. I think when, again, the parents are also in the new situation, the girls in the new situation, even the counselor and everybody is like, their offices are full. So especially during the first months, it's very helpful to process their experiences in the new country. And also very important without the parental expectations and biases, because of course they can talk to their parents, but I would be sort of a neutral person. I don't
Mm.
compare them to their siblings. I don't compare them to anybody else. I don't compare what we talked about before. So they come to me with a clean slate. We do some structured reflections, develop healthy life skills, like what do you do if you are anxious? So I'm just working on with one girl on her emotional emergency toolkit, for example, on
Mhm.
different strategies, like what can they do at the moment at school for 1 minute if everybody's watching and they feel so anxious? What can they do if they have 5 minutes at home? What about if they have 15 minutes and more? So that's always a good. We all squeeze it on one sheet, so it's easy to take out and read and have nearby. So that would be a tool set which I do with them. And then building, of course, the big idea is building self-acceptance, building um, their identity while they're being abroad, bearing in mind that we need a lot of learning flexibility, empathy, and resilience, of course, some other goals. And I am very much for assertiveness in girls.
Mm.
Yeah, asking for what you need, speak out, set boundaries. And we do lots of role plays,
Excellent.
which helps them a lot and gives them confidence because you learn by doing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're providing the whole coaching container, which is
Hmm.
basically another word for framework. You're giving them
Yeah.
the whole coaching. I wish I'd had you around when I came back from my
Yeah.
from my first adventure overseas as a 22-year-old to darkest Africa.
Oh my gosh.
Ew. Yeah. What a
Yeah.
gift.
Yes, it's
True.
such a gift.
Yeah,
So it's
it is.
terrific.
Hmm.
And so, do you help these girls also build trust? I'm sure these exercises help them build trust in themselves. But what about
Yes.
trust outside? All these transitions, all these goodbyes, one after another, they really can
Mm.
affect relationships, even as an adult. So, how do you help the girls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard one for them because I mean, we've all been there, like towards the end of the stay, if you know that you're gonna leave in 2 or 3 months. I don't know about you, but I don't want to make any new friends. And then there's always this one person who comes up and shows up, and you go, oh my gosh, he or she's so nice. I'd really like to spend time with them, but I shouldn't, and I don't want to. And yet I've decided I will, because it has worked out very well in the last two places. I've met people during the last 2 months that are still good friends of mine.
That's great.
So
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
I don't know about if you had the same experience. Yeah,
I
Megan?
I've been here 3 years, and I find
Uh-huh.
that I'm still. I think because I try to keep a low profile, and I
Mm-hmm.
try to create my own bubble and my own boundaries and my own work, and because I feel so purposeful in this mission
Mm-hmm.
of Nomadic Diaries and the Belonging series,
Mm-hmm.
I feel very purposeful compared to some of my friends and people in my age group who are not working.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it's sometimes challenging. Um, but I do see that you kind of go through phases, and I think that constantly getting to know new people that you really chime with, that you resonate with,
Yeah,
and feel the
exactly.
head, the heart, and the gut are all in alignment with this person.
Mm.
And that still happens.
Yeah, yeah,
What about
definitely.
you, Megan? You're in a new place. You're the newest of the three of us. As far
Exactly.
as moving.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if I cut out all the travel that I've done over the past year, I haven't even been here in the city for a year. I think
Mm.
I probably next month would be the official year
Yeah.
calendar place wise.
Mm.
So, yeah, it's been surprising who I've felt some connections with here in the city, and also yeah, just laborious also with your trying to make connections with people.
Yeah.
I also find that US American society does have a high value of busyness and let's schedule meetings.
Mm.
And if it
Mm.
doesn't align with someone's busy schedule or if it's not convenient to change, then you're off someone's calendar. So that's been really, yeah, hard. And then I think just making adult friendships in general can be a little bit
Mm.
tricky. But yeah, when I talk with TCKs, in a new place, similar, I think what you would say, Andrea, is don't discount when you think there's not
Yes.
going to be anything in
Yeah.
common with this person, perhaps who's sitting next to me. It'll be really surprising,
Yeah.
I think, how you can find something, yeah, that turns into some sort of lifelong connection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like don't discount people and don't discount them based on like not based on. I mean, there has to be some chemistry, right? You would want to spend time with this person, but also don't discount it on because only going to be here for another 2 months. Yeah,
Exactly. Because
definitely.
look at these relationships right here on the screen.
Right.
Um, for all of us, if
Yeah.
we had, you know, it this could have turned out very differently. However, it's turning out very positively because we choose
Yeah.
to nurture and water these relationships,
Hmm.
feed and water
Yeah.
them. So,
Yeah.
are you saying that these constant goodbyes um, sort of erode their confidence and their ability to trust a little bit?
Hmm. A lot at times, depending on in which stage they are in their personal development and maybe also their psycho-emotional development. Um, because like I said before, they're going away. The idea is go away from the parents towards the peers. And then if you don't have any peers or you're leaving them, uh, so where are they heading to? So that affects them deeply. Um,
Yes.
it's hard. It is hard on them. It affects, I think it's one of the big problems, losing friends, friendships that have taken time, that
Mm-hmm.
have taken investment, and then again in the new country. There's again time, there's a lot of investment. It gets sometimes it's difficult to build deep friendships depending on
Mhm.
how long they are in a country. It causes them a lot of anxiety,
Sure.
like, oh, what do I even, how do I walk up to the person? What do I do? Do I look? Don't I look? Um, so yeah, talking lots of tips, what to do the first day at school, what to do during the first week. Um, my tip would be take advantage of that everybody's looking for new friends in the first week. So that's
Yeah.
always good when you're in a situation, even for us, right? If you were in a situation where there are lots of new expats or new expat women around, yeah, suddenly they're there. Make the most of it.
And so
And
do you have other tips for parents who are raising these girls that you would like to leave us with today?
yes, get them out there. Like encourage and support them, even when you're stressed. If they want to bring somebody over, even if your boxes are not unpacked, let them come over. Even if you don't even have a kitchen, you're in a temporary housing, never mind, let them come over. It's so important for them to make friends. If those friends, the first ones, are going to be long-term friends, we never know, but it's this getting into the habit of
Mhm.
inviting people, getting to know people, talking to people.
Mhm.
Offer them some, practice the question where you're from, the XS, M, and the XL answer,
Yes,
and tell them that they can decide what to say depending on how they feel, and what they assume the other person would, in that situation, receive well.
yes,
And maybe set up a date. If school starts on the 1st of September, let's plan, I don't know, the last Friday of the month. You're Let's see if you want to invite some of the new people over. They're not friends yet, right?
Mhm.
But some of the new people, and order some pizza, and just like I said, even if you're stressed, even if you're unpacking the boxes, sort of help your kids, even if they're teenagers. They are still new, they're still alone. Sometimes I found it easier when my daughter was small because you were able to arrange play dates where she
Play
had no
date.
saying in. I would organize the play dates with the moms I liked.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
try to replicate that to some point with your teenager, which is of course laughable because they will not let you. But
yeah.
yeah, make it known that your house is always open.
That sounds like great advice. So those lots of tips. So be available
Yep.
and encourage your children your girls and your boys to get out there and
Hmm.
make your place a place where they can belong, where they can hang out, where they can feel community, where they can all feel welcome together.
Yep. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Well, this is amazing. Thank you so much for this conversation. Megan, do you have any other questions?
Welcome.
I do have one more question. It circles back
Shoot.
to your multilingual ability and skill.
Yes.
Do you do you find that in your coaching you are more expressive in one language, or is there some sort of distinct thing that happens when you are coaching in different languages, or I don't know, just
Um,
maybe a highlight of that?
I don't know. Because the girls I normally work with have grown up globally, so they don't have very strict personalities language-wise. The
Mm,
tone changes, the expressions change, but this I have the feeling still the same spirit comes over because they were being raised around the world. So they have this special third culture feeling to them. But what we do during our sessions, we switch languages on and off. So
mm,
once they know that I really speak Spanish and not just dos Coca-Colas, but fluently, oh my gosh.
yeah.
Suddenly we switched from English to Spanish, and I had another one which was English German, and it just like goes clink 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 clink. They don't need to think with me, which is good. So we might have one session in English, the next one in Spanish, the next one will be completely mixed. Once we start off in Spanish, we end it in English. And I think that gives them also lots of flexibility because they don't need to search for words.
Sure, sure.
Yeah,
And they can find
absolutely.
Yeah.
different words in different languages, right? So
Exactly. Yeah,
it gives them
that is
bigger
maybe what you also meant. Yeah. So like
Yes.
in
Yes.
Mexico, they do this, which means like, yeah, exactly, that nobody else does. So all these little things,
yeah,
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 and all the expressions.
the
Yeah,
nonverbal cue. That's
yeah,
what
yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah,
showing, a
yeah,
nonverbal cue that
yeah.
yeah,
you
exactly.
understood. Yeah.
Yeah,
And for the
yeah.
listeners, definitely check out Andrea's TED Talk, which she does completely in Spanish
In
and
Spanish.
yeah,
Yes.
Well
incredible
done.
and hot
Thank
pink
you.
heels.
Amazing.
Yes. Red dress, what pink heels. Yes.
Oh,
Oh, there might be a color scheme around here.
might be branding.
Yeah, it might be branding. Just might. Just might.
Recognizable, Andrea.
Yeah. Yes. Do you know what? I also, because we're talking about challenges. So if you allow me, I think that we often put the challenges aside. We sort of dismiss sometimes. So that's why we brought them up, right? That's why we brought them forward, and we want parents to know about this. But there's also long-term benefits of TCKs, of course.
Of course.
Um,
Yes.
of course. So
Of course there are. And I think it's really important for parents to study and learn what the
yeah,
long-term benefits are. Because sometimes I think when you're in the trenches and you're going through it with a teen, um,
yeah,
it's difficult to maintain that perspective. I remember
yes.
we had a family move into our cul-de-sac on the compound in Aramco, and they had a seventh or eighth grade girl that they were having so much trouble with because of
Mm.
it was a really hard time to move because she would only be there for seventh and eighth grade, and then in ninth grade they were going to send her to boarding school. And
Oh, she knew that, right?
yes,
Mm.
that was the drill. And so I remember, thinking, gosh, we've really got to find some things to tell these parents about, well, the benefits that we see
Mm.
long term from
Mm.
up overseas are
I have a list. I have a list. Do you want me to read the list?
yes, tell us a list. Oh, great.
Yes, yes,
You have a
yes, yes,
list.
yes. Yes, because I thought let's finish on a positive note here. Okay.
Great.
So TCKs develop superior cross-cultural skills, oh my goodness, adaptability and cultural awareness. Which is, of course, we're talking future career adult life, right? Studying in whatever international or non-international university, that's what they need. Advanced problem-solving skills related to navigating unfamiliar environments,
Mhm.
also related to social norms. They have a global mindset, global leader competencies, cultural flexibility and cultural empathy, intelligence, so cultural intelligence, cosmopolitanism, and an expanded worldview. That
Yes,
is all on top of the whole developmental challenges they might go through
right.
at the end. That's what they're going to put into their curriculum vitae. That's what is going to be important for university and for future employers, or if they're self-employed, to put on their business card.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's a wonderful
Yes.
positive note to
Yeah.
end on. Thank you
Uh-huh.
so much for this.
Oh, you're welcome. That was not a question. I thought I just put it there.
I'm so glad you did. Yes.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah. It's definitely paradoxical, but I wouldn't have changed my upbringing for anything
Right?
because of
Yeah.
all of the things that I think I embody with those skills.
Yes, you definitely do. And I've seen you in action. You definitely do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Megan, for being such a fabulous co-host in the Belonging series. Thank you to our special guest, Andrea Schmidt, who is the Global Girl Coach. And please, can you tell our listeners
Mhm.
how they can find you?
Yes. It would be at Global Girl Coach on Instagram. On LinkedIn, I'm as Andrea Schmidt. And I think Facebook as well. Yeah, and the website would be also globalgirlcoach.com.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for this. This
Perfect.
was terrific.
Thank you so much for inviting me and for having me again.
Oh, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. Megan?
Yeah, thank you, Andrea. Would you please say
Perfect.
goodbye in your multilingual self?
Adios. Hasta luego. Tschüss zusammen. Und well, goodbye.
Oh, thank you. I'm just going to throw this in there. Brené Brown said, true belonging doesn't require that we change who we are. Our sense of belonging can never be greater than our level of self-acceptance. And Brené Brown said that. I think we're all aware of these wonderful quotes. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Tschüss.